Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. I'm Abe with MysticGenmara.com, a small town mystic from the middle of Idaho. And tonight, whenever you happen to be seeing this, I would like to offer the elemental energy reading for fire for the bonus reading in February of 2026. So if you are a fire energy, which in the zodiac would be Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius, this message is for you. I am just shuffling the cards here for the bonus readings. I like to use the basic Celtic cross, and well, I do a little tweak to it because I have a different way of looking at it. And then we'll pull some oracle cards, get a little more clarity, a little more information from source. These are general readings, so take what works for you, leave the rest for someone else. With that, we're pulling the last two cards in the set, and then we'll get started with our reading. If you've never had your charts read, there is a link in the description to a natal chart from Llewellyn. It is a just very basic chart, but it gives you your base 12 houses with all the little signs and symbols in it, and then there's a 10 to 20 page description of what all that means, and usually towards the end there's an elemental alignment in there that's pretty cool. So if you're interested, you can check that out. Otherwise, onwards and upwards. Fire, we are starting you off with your significator, so this is the totality of you in this moment, and that is the Four of Pentacles. There's this energy of almost like you've lost a part of you. You haven't, it's just not dominant in the moment because you don't need it anymore, but you're really aware of others. So it's this energy of, there may be some energy shifting for you, there may be something that is coming more into the forefront right now, and you might feel like you're losing a part. You're not really losing it, it's just becoming more it's becoming less dominant in your energy field. So really, you're starting off this month for your bonus saying things are changing, things are shifting. Your awareness of your particular gifts, you might have a different one coming forward, and that's fine. There's something that is going to feel like it's passing away. It's not, it's just going into remission, so to speak. And if this is in a physical world, like a healing energy aspect, you might just actually be fixing a problem and releasing it. So there's a couple of different ways to look at this, but it's the emphasis on don't get too distracted by the stuff that's fading away. It's meant to fade away right now, but kind of stay more present with what is really going on in the moment. The energy that's crossing you, well, this makes sense, is the Five of Swords. Air is your opposite, swords are your opposite. They're complementary. Sorry, I'm thinking something different. Anyway, this is could be a complementary energy or not, but the Five of Swords, there's a battle that you may have won recently, and that could be tied into the part of you that's fading away here. But this energy that's being pushed is, yes, you won the battle, but there's no reason to let the ego get in the way. And that's what this cross energy is your ego's trying to vie for supremacy, saying, yeah, you know what, we did that, we're better than everyone else. And the message that's coming up here is, don't let the ego get involved. Yes, you had to deal with that, things had to happen the way they did. Again, that could be this energy that's fading away down here, because without that you wouldn't have been able to move forward. And this is that knowledge, wisdom, and air power energy where you're cutting away illusions. So there's this, we'll see what else is going on in the cards, but what I'm getting right now is things had to happen the way they did. You may not have liked it. That's where this one energy is coming to the forefront, while something else feels like you're losing it. It had to happen that way because it was time for your shift. It was time for an awareness change. However that plays out for you, you can let me know in the comments, but there's definitely a power dynamic that changed here, and your ego has taken it upon him or herself to be like, we're so good, we're better than everyone else. And this is saying, no. This needed to happen. You had very little to do with it, ego, go sit down. So be aware that there is that energy, and don't get distracted by the ego's cheering, because that's not going to be beneficial for you. Your higher self is actually saying the Ace of Swords. So this is saying you have been working towards something new, and you had to overcome, you had to let things fade away so that this new energy could come in. And this is energy that you're birthing in something new. This is new information, this is new wisdom, this is the energy of you're creating something, Fire. And I don't know what, they're not showing me what it is because, again, general readings, but there's this energy of change. You've had to earn your knowledge, your wisdom, with a little bit of blood, sweat, and tears. But now that you have it, you're ready to take that next step. And your higher self is coming in saying, don't worry about spilled milk. Yes, you had to do some battling. You may feel like you've lost a part of yourself, but the reality is it was time for this awareness to shift. So you have a new beginning coming in for your higher self. Your higher self is cheering you on with that one, really wanting you to know, nope, you're in a good spot. This is not a bad thing. Let's keep going because we've got something better coming. So your shadow energy, your lower self, if you will, is the Sire of Pentacles. So it's interesting that your energies that are coming in are both complementary to you but don't like each other. Because the Sire of Pentacles, the Sire of Earth, is teaching the next generation. Your shadow is saying there's someone who's watching you. So if you can conquer this egoic energy that's trying to be like, haha, we're so much better, you're going to actually influence the next generation or the next person who's coming into this type of a situation really positively. And your shadow is saying you've always wanted to be a leader or a teacher or someone who guides someone else. Like, this is something ingrained within you, fire. And it's interesting because I usually don't feel this from fire energy, but this one in particular, this month, you have this, I want to train somebody. I want to do this myself. I want to basically fix the situation. And you may be the one, because this is you. You may be the one doing that. You may also not realize who's watching, because someone else is paying attention. They're trying to mimic you. They're trying to understand where you are, how you got here, and how to move forward. And this is, when we're talking about Earth, this could be something that goes on at home or something specifically tied to finances. So that's where we're coming up here. But your shadow is saying you've almost been trying to hide this. You've been trying to run away from this need or desire to teach, to train, to share your wisdom. And what I'm getting right now is, fire, don't do that now. This is not the time. And if you've been wanting to write that self-help book, if you've been wanting to start that blog, whatever it is, this is your message from your shadow saying you don't have to be afraid of this. It doesn't matter how big or how small it is. You just have to start. And when you do that, you're showing others that it's okay, even if you're not ready for it, or if you think you're not ready for it, you still are putting the best foot forward and you're moving forward. So the shadow is saying, you've got this. Let's do this. This is something that you've been wanting to do. You've been kind of, it's almost, the vibe I'm getting, it's almost like you were told no, like, oh, that'll never work, or I can't believe you want to be a poet. That no one makes money as a poet. Who cares? You're doing something because you want to. It doesn't matter what other people think. And that's the vibe that I'm getting here for our fire family is, if you want to do it, do it. Others are going to be influenced by your actions that are going to significantly improve them. And by doing that, that improves you as well. And again, your higher self is really wanting to remind you, you have paid for this knowledge with blood, sweat, and tears. You have paid for this path. It's time to start using it. And it's interesting because when we look at the three cards together, your higher self is saying new beginnings. You've paid for this. Let's get started. You're saying, I feel like I'm losing something in the moment, but you have this new shiny thing here. And your shadow's saying, yes, you are having that new shiny thing. You need to get moving. It's time to step into your role because it is time for you to shine. And so your higher self and your shadow are actually in agreement. That doesn't always happen, by the way. So enjoy that while it lasts. Your immediate history, the last 1 month, 6 months, or a year, is the Page of Cups. I love this, the way they did this card, because it's like you've got it's not a pelican, it's a swan. You have a swan in the background, you've got the cup being reflected, and then you have this little goober here who's just so obsessed with his own reflection. So in this past, you've been kind of dealing with illusions and you've been enjoying them, which is fine, we all have those days, but it's not been the best thing. That's why you've ended up with having to go through some of the battles that you've went through. But the beauty of this water energy, the cups, is this was emotional growth. So you might have been looking at the illusion of something emotionally more aligned with you, which is totally great in this particular instance. And that's how you survived some of the blood, sweat, and tears that comes with this page of, or ace of swords, because that's the energy of that. Whoops, I have a small desk. There. That Ace of Swords energy is this: you've had to pay for this, you've had to earn this, and now it's time to start the project. You've been working towards this, and you survived. You've gotten through this. Even if it was fake it till you make it, you stayed positive even when you didn't think it was possible. So Fire, you're doing really well here, and it's saying your history is going to lead to the better payoff. We'll check your future here in a second, but that's the vibe that I'm getting right off the bat here. Your immediate future, 1 month, 6 months, or a year, is the Six of Cups. There's definitely celebrations coming in your future. There's also, I'm feeling very strongly with this one that you have caught the attention of the divine somehow. Like there's a higher force that is intervening or blessing the path that you're choosing. Whatever new you're working on, you're going to have prosperous to a certain extent. Again, prosperity looks different for everybody. Do not compare yourself to others. What does prosperity look like for you? But the Six of Cups, there is a celebration, but there's also an offering. So you're doing better, and that's also saying as you expand, don't forget to spread the charity to others. You're doing well, you can show them how to do it, you can hire somebody, however that works, but it's not just, your future is blessed, but it's not just about you. It is, there's like I said, the flowers in the back, this is what you're getting, but don't forget to offer to others and share. And this is not, and that's what they keep bringing up is, as you're getting bigger, as you're going within your business, within your relationships, whatever it is, when you give back, it starts to build a cycle of as you're giving, you're receiving, as you're receiving, you're giving, and it builds momentum. So you're doing this to help others, but by doing so, you're also getting blessed on top of it. So it's an interesting little cycle you're starting to build here, Fire. Your inner world, this is your personal attitude, how your thoughts, feelings, and impressions are in the moment, is the Page of Wands. You feel like you might not be ready for this next level. This is kind of the apprentice energy. This is the new beginner, like you've got some training, but now you're off on your own, like a journeyman or something. And with this, you're really stepping out. You know in your inner world that this is going to be something new, and you don't feel like you're ready for it. Fire, what I'm hearing from the energy coming in, you are ready for it. Now, the one thing they're wanting to make clear, yes, you're ready for this new change, this new shift, this new direction, but you're not going to have it just handed to you on a silver platter. You've had to work to get here, meaning you've learned a lot, you've gained a lot, but by no means do you know everything about whether it's a business, a relationship, or promotion. Yes, you've got enough to get your foot in the door. You've got enough to get things started. You're nowhere near fully vetted in this process, because the Page of Wands says you've gained knowledge, you've gained wisdom, you've learned how to do the next steps, but that doesn't mean you're a master yet. You're not to the kings yet. You're just starting. So you've done a lot. You're getting there. Your inner world is actually feeling a little bit of this inadequate, and that's not a true statement. Yes, you're not fully there yet, but you're way ahead of where you think you are. So your outer environment, this stuff that's outside your control, things that outside of your bubble. We have number 14, which is the Temperance card. This can also be seen as coming into balance, finding a fulcrum where you're stabilized. You're not running one way or another. And with this energy, especially with all the water in the background, this is saying emotionally you're in a really good spot because you're feeling neutral. You're not rushing into anything. It might feel like it for a moment, but you also know that you've been planning for this. And so you've got like slow and steady wins the race, but you also have a phoenix up here saying, yeah, we can be slow at times, but it's also times when we need to move. And that's where they're feeding back and forth. You're finding that new balance. You're finding an equilibrium here, Fire. And your outside world is wanting to work with you. But I'm feeling that the outside world is going to shove you forward. You don't have to do that, but you do need to find a balance as to how this is going to play out. If you're opening your own business, how is this going to affect the home life? Finding that new balance. If you're proposing to that special someone, it is the month of love, so of course that's always an option. How is it going to change your life? In your own home, are you guys getting an apartment together? Are they moving in with you? You moving in with them? And then there's the part of, if you take that promotion, What are you giving up to accept? Again, there's that give and take energy, finding a new balance. It's going to go the way that is best aligned for you. Again, your immediate future is the Six of Cups, so there's celebration, there's prosperity, there's abundance. But that's going to look different for each person, so do not think this means one thing. But you also have that energy of, yes, you're getting things, but you also have to be okay with giving as well. And that's where Temperance comes in to help you find that more stable balancing point. And your hopes and fears, this one's always interesting, and this can be hopes for the future, fears of whatever else is going on. We have the Seven of Cups. You have a lot of water that's very supportive of you, and you really don't have a lot of negative here. I mean, the Five of Swords, but that's just meaning don't let your ego get in the way. With this one, your hopes are actually really strong. Like, you have this big dream, you have big goals, you have a lot of things you're working towards, Fire. Your fear is, am I overstepping? Am I wanting something that I shouldn't have? The universe will balance this, so don't stress over that kind of stuff. If I get this, is this going to make me a better or worse person? Well, those are questions you have to ask yourself. No one else can answer them. But your hope is that by doing this work that you're doing right now, whether it's taking that promotion, starting that business, proposing to that person, your hope is everything's going to go well and this is your reward. The fear is, am I doing the right thing? And Fire, there's somebody out there, might be a couple people, who have this feeling of your fear is unworthiness. You don't think that you're good enough for it. You're not ready for it. And Source is saying, that is not your concern. You're more than worthy. Now it's just trying to convince your subconscious mind, who's playing games with you, that yes, you are worthy, and it is time for this shift to occur. Again, I'm feeling very strongly this is not going to be just handed to you on a silver platter. This is something you're going to have to work for. You're going to have your part to play, but it's your mindset that you're focusing on. Are you going to focus on the hopes of everything going the right way, or the fear of unworthiness? Because those things are two entirely different energies. And Fire, it's time to really embrace the hope, acknowledge that the fear is there, but use that sucker as a building block or fuel for your fire and keep on moving. So the overall outcome here, this is beautiful, is number 18 with the Moon. Your reward is going to come. There is a very good outcome for this. It may not be bold and dynamic and daring, which is more Fire's energy anyway, because the Moon is subconscious. The Moon is water. There is a tide that is turning. There is something that is going to be for sure changing this month for you, Fire. Again, general readings. But your gateway, you're moving from the kitten into the tiger. You're connecting in with your inner crab, if you will, because sometimes you have to be that Krabby Patty for a second to get what you need. Sometimes you have to stand up for yourself and be like, we're not doing this. Others are going to be like, wow, Fire's being a real one today. Fine, let them have their theories, let them have their beliefs, because when you actually get to the end of this month, you're going to see they're still where they're at. They didn't move. But Fire, you're going through a gateway. You're being guided into the upper dragon energy. So you're literally going from earth to water through the air into you. Even though the Moon is water, there's a dragon in there, which is fire. So you're going to be building and growing and expanding. The Moon is guiding your subtle movements. So it may not seem dramatic, and that's fine. That's actually not a bad thing. But your shift is going to be intentional. It's going to be conscious. You know what you're doing. Whether that is, like I said, proposal, business, promotion, and those are the three they keep bringing up, so we'll just go with that. Whichever one of those you're working towards, you're going to do so in a very logical, plotting way, but you're also tapping into your own passion. This is not going to be, I have to do this. I can't believe I'm doing this. Why am I doing this? There might be some of that from the shadow. There might be some of that from your fears. But the reality is, this is stuff you've been working towards, Fire. This is not something that is foreign to you. This is where you're headed. And it's going to happen in a subtle way. It's not going to be dramatic. It could be, don't get me wrong. There's enough going on here that it could trigger off of that. But your fire, which tends to be the things that cause drastic, immediate, explosive changes, isn't really here. The earth is, keeping it grounded, air, working with your intelligence, and then the water being your opposite. So this is not going to be what you expect. It's going to go in a much quieter movement. The underlying theme here, though, is the Fool energy. This is something that is so new to you that you don't know how to respond. You think you do. I mean, the Fool starts off giddy and giggly and I'm so great, but that's the Fool's journey. You're starting off and don't know anything. I mean, you can see he's got the innocence of the white rose. He's got his little buddy down here, but is immature. You're ready for this journey, Fire. You've been wanting it. The universe is saying time to put your foot down and time to make this change. But you're not going to know everything at the beginning. Be open to the lessons. Be open to the journey. Because it's going to be a fun journey when you get going. But it's going to have its ups and downs. That's the one thing they're wanting to make clear here. But your overall outcome, it's going to happen quiet. It's going to happen subtly. You're going to look back in the future and be like, oh, that's when that happened. It's not going to be bombastic, which is not usually your pace. So with that, we'll hop into our oracle cards. Before we do that, though, like, comment, and subscribe. If you see something different in the cards than what I am bringing forward, I read intuitively, so I rearranged my desk over here, so it's really everything's short. I need to fix that. But if you see something different in the cards, feel free to comment down below and let me know what your thoughts are. It's always interesting to see other people's intuition as well. Like I said, I read intuitively, so all of the exact meanings of the cards, those are important, but once you get into it more, you can start working with your intuition. So let's take a peek at your first oracle card. And with the oracle, if you have a question, you can pause the video now, ask your question, and then see what answer comes through. These might be answers for those. It could be more information about the reading. So your first oracle card is number 39, Me Talks, repairing the body, mind, and spirit. This is an important thing to do because you're making a lot of movement. There's a lot of things shifting right here. Again, not super bold and daring, but definitely changing. Don't forget to take care of yourself. Do the inner work. Do the self-care. Take a bubble bath. I mean, check out how happy that little dude is in his bubble bath. Do something like that where you're just relaxing. You're doing something for yourself. You're doing something for recovering after a rough week at work. You're doing something because you popped the question and that person actually said yes. And so you're elated, but then you have that emotional settle down after. Do something that just makes you feel quiet, calm, and healthy. And it could be that you're ready to do a physical detox. We are moving into spring. And after the holiday season, that's not a bad idea, just in general. But there's other energies here. Listen to some beautiful music, play with your nieces and nephews or your own little ones and just listen to their giggles and laugh and allow yourself to be refreshed by that. Especially if they're your nieces and nephews, you can spoil them, they can giggle and coo and do all that, and then you hand them back and go home. So do the things that, inspire your heart to grow and do the things that inspire your soul. Take care of yourself this month is the message with that one. Your second card is number 33, the Joyful Muse with Inspiration. This month, Fire, is really about tapping into your muse. Really get ready for these changes. Have fun with this. Again, they're not saying it's going to be bombastic, but that doesn't mean you can't enjoy the journey. You've been enjoying the journey as you've used your positive mindsets, even if you questioned yourself a little bit on the past. You've used that to keep you going forward. Use that fire, use that creative, entertaining laughter aspect of life. Do something different. Have fun with this. If you've never painted before in your life, buy a small paint kit and start playing. It doesn't have to be perfect. I mean, look, he's painted his fiddle how many colors? Or violin, depending on how you want to look at that. Or cello. What is that? Anyway, he's painted his stringed instrument. And he's having fun. He's not abiding by anyone's rules, and that's the message with this one is Fire. Just because other people don't like what you're doing, that's fine. Not breaking any laws. Enjoy your journey. That's the important part. And your wrap up here with our third oracle card is number 3. That's interesting. 39, 33, and 3. Benefactor, grace, and generosity. So this is saying, just like with your shadow, other people are watching you, and your future self, don't forget to share what you've gained. The benefactor is you. You're the one who's, by sharing, by being generous with the things that you have earned, you're going to be returned that, usually tenfold, or at least threefold. And the benefactor here is you and the person. It's not just a one-way street. Don't do it just because you're going to get paid back. That's not the point. You're doing it because your cup overfloweth. Therefore, you're sharing with others. And as you share with others, their cups fill. They overflow, and it feeds you back. This energy going forward here is really about embracing the changes, having fun with it, and tapping into the grace of the universe. So with these three cards, though, you've got 39, 33, and 3. So your numbers are really about sets of 3. And the number 3 plays a prominent role in your oracle reading. So see how that plays out, if that's a valuable number, if you're seeing those numbers a lot. That's when the angels are stepping in. That's when the God source energy is saying, hey, pay attention. We're working with you. So something significant is coming up with that, because that's a lot of 3s. So when you have those numbers show up in your life, know that that's your message, that source is paying attention, source is with you at that moment. See what is going on around you to kind of catch your attention, because it's going to be subtle shifts, but shifts are occurring. With that, I will let you go. Have a great rest of your month of February, and I will see you in the next video.